Well, many of you looking up at the skies would have seen a lot of that Saharan dust around, and unfortunately for those of you who have breathing problems, the Saharan dust is also bringing that in as well. It tends to contain a pollen, fungi, pollutants, as well as some bacteria, and obviously can cause issues for those of you with asthma and also pollen allergies. And indeed, all the trade winds from Africa tend to blow all of this into the region from April into August, but it does have its benefits in that it brings quite vital nutrients and minerals towards the Amazon rainforest. You can't see the Saharan dust on this satellite picture, but trust me, it is there, and it covers most of the eastern Caribbean, and in fact it is set to blow further out towards Puerto Rico as we go through the next few days. Down towards southern Trinidad, there's not much in terms of moisture around to bring any sort of significant rainfall. Most of the rains are further towards the south, tied in along the Guyana's coastline there. But there is one tropical wave out there, but that is struggling against that dry, dusty air. So even if that passes by midweek and into the latter half of the week, we're not set to see much of that happening across Trinidad and Tobago. So a hazy night for many of you. There will be some clouds bringing some showers, particularly across the hills of Tobago first thing in the morning, probably just before dawn. And once we get past that, we'll be back into the hazy conditions. It will also be quite breezy down towards Roxborough, Scarborough and Keenan as we go through the day. Out towards Trinidad, also a few light showers are expected over midnight and then into the early hours. We'll likely see most of those attracted to the hillsides along the northern range. Central and southern areas should be mostly settled, but the Saharan dust will be quite thick as we go through tomorrow morning and into the day. Definitely watch out for the breeze blowing more dust across into Port of Spain and eventually into Diego Martin. A few early passing showers may just sneak in across Guaragari and Moruga, but overall it will be the dense haze that dusty conditions will continue for most of you as you go through Rio Claro and San Fernando. So a warm night, 25 degrees Celsius in Trinidad, 26 in Tobago. Tomorrow's high in Trinidad, 33 in Tobago, 31, possibly 32 in Scarborough, and not much change across Tobago in terms of the Saharan dust for the next few days. Similarly for Trinidad, the dust extends into Wednesday, and we'll likely continue to see that dust possibly pushing through into Thursday. But that's when I say there will be that passing tropical wave. It may bring some moisture, but very little in terms of rainfall is likely to come out of that. In terms of those heading offshore, you will notice those rather fresh, occasionally strong winds coming out to the east. That will continue. 20 knots, bringing some whitecaps and sea spray. Wind waves up to 2.5 meters out in the Atlantic, and those east-northeasterly swells a touch longer through Tuesday at 10 seconds. Out towards the rest of the Caribbean, it's obviously quite wet. A different story all across Jamaica into Hispaniola. A lot of rain is expected here. Possibility of some flooding rains as well. And some of those showers obviously turning up thundery as we go through late on a Tuesday and going into Wednesday. Now for Kingston, no higher than 28 degrees Celsius under those thunderclouds. Thundery as well out towards Port-au-Prince and out towards Santo Domingo. They'll see some blowover showers as they go through tomorrow. Not much chance of any sort of rainfall across the Eastern Caribbean. Quite the contrary, lots of sunshine, although bathed in a lot of the haze as well coming further south from Dominica. But it will also feel quite breezy, and even a couple of breezy showers maybe creeping in to Georgetown with a high of 32 degrees Celsius. So that's your weather. That's it for me.